Founders who feel like their business runs on chaos and caffeine, this one's for you. My name is Mark Scala. I'm Amazon bestselling author and fractional CMO, COO. I help founders build systems at scale so that you can grow revenue, regain control, and get your life back. And if that sounds like what you're chasing, give this video a like and hit follow. And if you're ready to talk about fixing your structure for real, hit the link in my bio to book a call. So let's talk about something most founders won't admit: their addiction to chaos. Some founders don't escape chaos, they crave it, because deep down it makes them feel alive. They'll say that they hate it, the constant fires, the long nights, the nonstop pressure, but when things get calm, they start to get restless. And maybe this relates to you. You unconsciously create more chaos just to feel in control again. That's something that I call the founder addiction. And if you've been building in that mode for too long, it's probably running your life and now your company. So let's unpack why chaos feels so comfortable and what to do once you realize you've built your identity around it. Most founders start in survival mode. You're building from nothing. Every problem is yours to solve. Every win depends on your energy. You're improvising your way through every single day, making it work with just sheer willpower. That survival energy starts to become part of your very identity. And you start to believe that chaos equals progress, that if everything's calm, that means something's wrong. And the problem is, what helped you survive the early stages will destroy you in the scaling stages. It's like adrenaline, very useful in a crisis, but deadly as a lifestyle. When you're addicted to chaos, you don't just respond to problems, you start creating them, because chaos is where you feel the most useful. Think about it. When the business is on fire and everybody turns to you, well, you get to swoop in, save the day, prove your worth all over again. And sometimes that even feels like leadership, but it's really just firefighting in disguise. And if you're honest, part of you loves that. The rush, the urgency, the control, the feeling of being indispensable. But here's the truth. Chaos is not proof of leadership. It's proof of dependency. Because if the business only thrives when you're in crisis mode, it means that you've built a model that needs your chaos in order to survive. And that's not strength, that's actually fragility wearing a cape. This reminds me of a story of a founder I once worked with who ran a pretty successful e-commerce brand. On paper, everything looked great. 8-figure revenue, steady growth, a loyal team. But he was still micromanaging every campaign, rewriting emails at midnight, and personally approving ad spend. One of the things that he said is, I just want things to run smoothly. But when they finally did, he found something new to fix. It wasn't the business that was addicted to chaos, it was him. He didn't know how to feel valuable unless things were on fire. And that's the dangerous part, is that chaos makes founders feel relevant. It validates their role, it proves that they still matter. But the more you rely on chaos for validation, the less scalable your company becomes. You're going to notice some symptoms. When the team starts solving problems without you, you feel left out instead of relieved. When someone else takes ownership, you find a way to check in. When the fires finally stop, you subconsciously start lighting new ones. That right there is the founder's addiction cycle. Chaos, control, relief, boredom, repeat. And it's exhausting, but it's also fixable. You just have to understand what the addiction is really protecting. It's not about loving stress. Nobody loves stress. It's about fearing irrelevance. Because for years, you've equated motion with value. You believe that if you're not busy, you're not important and things aren't happening. But scaling requires the opposite. It requires you to create space, not fill it. To create calm, not chaos. And that shift from addiction to alignment is what separates overwhelmed founders from scalable leaders. So let's talk about why this addiction forms in the first place. It's not weakness, it's just wiring. When you're building a business from scratch, your chaos becomes your teacher. Every problem that you solve gives you a quick hit of validation. Every crisis survived becomes another story that proves your toughness. And you start associating stress with success. You start confusing anxiety for ambition. And before long, chaos doesn't just feel familiar, it actually starts to feel safe. Your brain literally rewards it because in those early years, chaos was the path to progress. You didn't have systems, you had instinct. You didn't have departments, you had adrenaline. And it worked until it didn't, right? The danger is that your body and your identity never got the memo that things are supposed to change. Because you built a business, but your nervous system still thinks it's a startup. And that's why peace starts to feel foreign. It's why calm feels like risk, and why even the chaos, when it stops, your mind starts looking for the next fire to fight. If you've ever gone on vacation and spent the first 3 days checking your email out of habit, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's not discipline, that's withdrawal, right? So how do you break it? How do you rewire from chaos to calm? Here's 3 steps that actually work. Number 1, redefine what control means. Right now, control probably means having your hands on everything. Real control isn't touching everything. It's knowing everything will work without you touching it. That means trading hands-on management for systems-based oversight. Control isn't about presence, it's about predictability. Number 2, replace adrenaline with accountability. Adrenaline feels really powerful, but it burns really fast. Accountability lasts a whole lot longer. Build systems that measure outcomes, not activity. And when you can see the right metrics, on time, delivery, profit margins, customer satisfaction, you don't need chaos to prove momentum. You can feel safe in data instead of drama. Step 3, build a calm operating rhythm. And this is where true growth actually happens. Create a predictable cadence, weekly reviews, structured check-in, quiet time for strategy, and protect those like oxygen, because calm doesn't come from stepping away once in a while. It comes from designing your business to operate calmly every day. And at first, calm's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to want to fill it with motion again. But stay committed, stay in it. That discomfort isn't boredom, it's healing. It's the moment your leadership evolves from heroic to scalable. One founder I worked with spent 10 years living in chaos. He was brilliant, he was relentless, and he was respected, but he was also exhausted. And he told me, if I'm not fixing something, I don't know who I am. We started with a small change, weekly delegation check-ins instead of daily crisis meetings. Within 3 months, he went from working 70 hours a week to 50. Not just that, but revenue went up. Stress went down. And for the first time, he said, I think I'm finally running a company and not just surviving one. And that's the transformation waiting on the other side of chaos. You don't lose your edge, you just stop bleeding from it. You're not losing control, you're redefining it. And you don't lose your passion. You channel it through systems instead of panic. And that's what real growth feels like. Not louder, but lighter. And this is exactly what I talk about in my book, The Leverage Point. Because founders don't need another motivational speech about grinding harder. They need a framework to design calm into their company. And the book shows you how to replace chaos with clarity, documenting decisions, empowering your team, and freeing yourself from founder dependency. And that's how you move from addiction to alignment, or from chaos to consistency, from founder stress to founder freedom. Here's the bottom line. If chaos feels comfortable, it's not because you're broken. It's because you've been rewarded for it for too long. But you don't have to keep paying that price. You can build a business that works without the constant emergency. You can build systems that scale and a life that finally feels sustainable. Once again, I'm Mark Scala. I help founders do exactly that. If this hits home, like the video, hit follow, share it with another founder who's stuck in the chaos cycle. And if you're ready to start building calm into your company and your business, grab a copy of my book, The Leverage Point, or book a clarity call using the link in my bio. Because chaos might have built your business, but calm is what's going to let you keep it.